Jethro Smith of PsychicJethro.com. Welcome to Nature of Reality Radio, and kudos to Daniel Teague of Vegas Star Healings again for recommending a guest when I needed him. It's a good thing you said yes to this because I was about to contact a whole slew of potential guests because I don't have any open slots in the moment in the future. And first come, first serve, first get the earliest show. So you were able to solve that and not have to worry about that by saying yes, let's do this Friday, the day before the winter solstice on 2019. So very grateful for that. Very grateful to have you as a guest. Seems like a little while since I've been able to do 2 shows a week for it's been a while. Something always seems to come up that prevents me from being able to do that. But anyhow, let me say you're now welcome to give your life story. Tell us everything you can from a primary source perspective regarding what caused you to discover your powers and abilities, and well, what did you experience that caused you to figure that this is what you have to do in life? Enlighten us, educate us, be the best primary source you can be. You've got the floor, and I will not interrupt you.
Thank you, Andrew. It's so nice to have you on your show. I want to thank everybody. I'm known as Psychic Jethro for years, and I love your question about asking me, with my ability, it happened after a drowning experience. I had a near-death experience where they took me out into the pool, in a wading pool, and they had cut the bottom of the plastic pool to float. So I'm at the clubhouse, I'm in the water's going, and the teachers that had took me and the other student April out, they took us out there in hopes that when the water filled, the wading pool would go down and we would start to dog paddle or swim. And we didn't. What happened was we both went to bottom. And when they revived me, my teacher, Mr. Ellerby, noticed something that it took quite a few minutes to revive me and bring me back. And since that time, I've had a very good ability of being able to sense and see things from the other side. I started noticing it at first when I went to church with my family, and I noticed that the widow's husband was there. I could see and hear him, and nobody else noticed that. And so I spoke about it to her, let her know that there was something happening. She became a little freaked out by the whole incident, and it started my path on this. I learned real quick that some individuals believe in this and some don't. And even more importantly for me, I also learned how to handle things that were there so that I could be able to focus and see what other people were sensing or seeing. I also have since then used that ability with teachers. I started then at that young age of 8 years old with the drowning experience, and then went on with teachers and people here with individuals. You know, I love the fact that with Vegas Healing, we'll be able to work together. We have talked about, I've done a lot of American certified psychic work. I'm now worked with United Kingdom and becoming international with the fact of, I've had quite a few people now through my 30-some years of career of helping find people, help working with seeing the things that are unseen and putting answers to help people with this gift. I've come a long way from being scared with it as a child to now actually taking this to a new level. So I welcome all of you that, contact me at the www.psychicjethro.com. I have a few books out there. And one of those books I really pride in, if you guys have not checked out, is The Living in the Psychic Realm. It explains all about my life and the 3 teachers, and I've used it a lot with younger children here to be able to help and teach, because it's hard for a person that has not seen or sensing it to understand. And I've proven, and other psychics with me through the years, through the Psychic Institute and other individual organizations I'm involved in, proving that those sights, those gifts and those abilities we all have, it just takes something. Mine, a drowning incident. I've had a person that was hit, had an accident and was hit with a vehicle, and he lives in Texas, Gary, and is able to use his ability. I've worked with people who are born with the gift. I was able to actually sense auras when I was before the drowning incident, and I would see energy or color around it. After the drowning, I was able to be very clairaudient and hear it. So I welcome all of you that are listening to the show to contact me there. I have a lot of individuals that I suggest the best way to do it is to schedule online there. I only see people for half an hour or an hour because you get intense. You want to be able to, I want to pick up your aura or pick it up. I have individuals that sometimes I'll do an email reading or something for them when they need help with their aura. But most of the time, I like the clairaudience. I like the talking and sensing on the phone. It's where my gift is. Where there's other individuals who don't even talk on the phone, who are able to look at a picture, communicate with a tech, working with whatever. Find your psychic that works for you, and you'll be able to see that. Um, Andrew, I'm really excited here about some of your show. I was going to talk with you a few minutes if you don't mind here. Let me know. I guess the best thing I can say is about your audience. What kind of things would they like to relate to? I work with animals. I work with people. I've done a lot of mediumship with people that have passed.
You say you wanted to ask me something?
Yes. What subject do you think I should? I mean, I've done a lot of work with it. I'm putting out.
Oh, we've got a full 2 hour show, so all those subjects you just mentioned, yeah, you can. How about you do all of them on the fly, though? If you can spend like 2 hours talking about each of them, just cover each one on the fly quickly. So just get the important info
Well,
out.
thank you. I've only got an hour. I have to go back to my readings, but
Really?
yes, but I love that. I live in
Oh,
California, and I thank all of you. We'll talk a little bit. Let's do this. For those of you that are tuning in, I apologize. We had a little bit of sound back here, and we'll get that clear. What I want to make sure and do for those of you contacting is let's talk about the fact of working with your abilities with the animals. I do an empowerment here. I've worked in Sierra. I've worked in Manitou Springs, and before that, Sedona, Arizona, as a psychic. And as a tour guide or working with individuals to find your own empowerment. Those of you who know with your aura, it's amazing to realize that we're all connected in a universal way, and we have connected, whether it be our spirit animal or even our guides or angels, able to connect with those. And that's where I was asking, and then we'll talk about those modalities. I've had individuals through the years wanting to see through the veil and see that person that's passed on the other side, or see that dimension of work that they have. You want to be able to go in and work and sense and feel those work and making sure that all of that's there. But if you begin to feel or notice anything, in your own aura or things working out with it, you're able to take that development and put that together and make sure that everybody else is connected with you. So my best success has been working with people one-on-one, having a development there. I've had some other friends and some other things even come in through the years on through that, whether it be your family, your guide, or other people connecting there. So I suggest with most of my students that I've worked with here in next to Berkeley, as where I live in California, and I've dealt with individuals that have worked through the guide work of putting that together so that you can feel and sense what your guides are. I take a candle. We start with it very basically, and get to know your guide. You want to know who's the totem. And I've had people tell me, okay, I really like a bear. I feel good with a bear. Go with more than just your mind. Your mind consciously will say that. You need to be able to take a candle, like I said, relax in a dimly lit room, put that light there, practice it yourself so that you're not only seeing your aura, but you're also sensing the energy around it. So you're basically lit the candle, you're in a relaxed state of mind, you're visualizing that candle, and you're seeing around it and working with it. So it works real well for those of you who are looking to enhance your abilities, or as I was saying earlier, empower yourself so that you can manifest or bring better things for your life. I've lived in quite a few places in the country that I've done really good success. For those of you who remember in Tampa, Blue Moon Treasures, I owned a store there for years. We had a lot of clients there, still connecting with all of you through Facebook and other necessities. And this is where that working with the basic, getting your third eye to open to be able to manifest and put that seventh chakra, the purple chakra above your head, in that vortex to work for you. So you're sitting there, you're meditating, you're relaxed, you're feeling, you're sensing the energy. The first person you always read is you read yourself. So you visualize that energy coming over, you visualize that energy coming back, and you're able to sense and see the energy that's with you so that you're able to clearly get that put into a positive state of individual work of seeing what's there. I've had individuals tell me that the first thing they notice with looking without seeing around that energy is they'll start to see that white energy. That is actually your outer aura. That's the Kundalini working within to keep your energy force together. You will begin to sense, just looking without seeing, you start to feel that. You're kind of looking at, you see the flame there, but you're kind of looking without seeing around it. You start to feel and sense. That's putting yourself in a very good, positive state. I've want to call it the zone in psychic work or defense. It's when you're basically in beta. For those of you who are a little more psychologically or with our degrees working with a little more mental idea, you're putting yourself in beta state. That's your most psychic state. I have for years, like I said, worked with individuals on this because what I want to do is my ability in the Sixth Sense is to take people that are wanting to be involved or working with this to a higher level. I would love to talk with those of you who know with the Reiki healings, we do this also the same meditative. Those who know, we do the symbologies of the ancient Japanese, but we put that healing modality, as our wonderful Vegas gentleman does and other ones there. Contact someone there. They can get those links. Always go to a professional. In my case, I work with the energy of what I've got. I do my professionalism of I've learned this work, and then I get into the meditative. I do have a lot of individuals who, through the years after the radio shows and the things that I've done through this career, contact me, and I will read for individuals with their date of birth as astrology. But there, once again, you want to have that physical clairaudiency of hearing the person, talking to them, getting the guides. Because as I was explaining, you're looking at that light, you're sensing that, you're going to open your intuitive up to that light. So you're looking, you're seeing, you've got things going really positive there. As the energies begins to shift and things start to really take a form, you're not only seeing now the light, you should begin to sense a little bit around you. And you know what I'm saying? You're feeling, you're sensing here, you're visualizing, you're going to be able to see and start to now feel a different color or energy. Going with that color, just take the color, take note of it, take a few minutes. Now I'm teaching you guys a little bit about this because we've got some time here, and I want to go through a little bit about this is how to see your aura, see your guide, and then later to see your totem. There's 4 totems, top, bottom, and both sides of your aura. As you're working with this and what we're going through for our psychic development and helping here, we're discussing the work of it. As you guys, I explained, I drowned as a child. I went through 3 teachers. My thing in Sedona, and what I've really done really well, is that I don't only want to do the reading for you, but I want to teach you how to read yourself. Because the best part is your intuitive, your sense begins to do this. I've had a very good success with people who've done very good manifesting, physically work, career, and what I really pride myself in is that my clients through my 30-some years of career have went on to help other people. I'm helping their kids, they're helping us, and vice versa. So you're raising your vibration, you're seeing the energy, you're sensing it. The next color you see is your inner aura. You're seeing and sensing that energy together and your own sense of it, and you're beginning to feel that passive positive energy. You want to make sure at this point of what you're feeling and what you're getting there is that you're actually going into a state of feeling and sense. A lot of individuals tell me that if their third eye is open, that they are also starting to hear. It's okay to hear at a point, but remember the best 2 things that you always want to do when we're doing meditation, and like I'm talking to you about today, you want to do so many minutes. So you'll do a good 10, 15 minutes, and then have something stop. I have people use stopwatch, clock, alarm, whatever. It's a friend, come in, knock on the door, say, okay, and you stop. Then you take this energy and you work with it. For those of you who are interested, I do a lot of work here on reading for houses and things like that. I've done that here in California. Through years, I used to read in Colorado Springs, for those of you who remember there. Or like I said again earlier with Tampa, we do with a group. So you contact someone, you having something in your house, you're going on. As I was explaining earlier, that candle lit in your house and doing that few minutes is going to give you that sense. I've had individuals tell me, I'm feeling things. There, once again, get a hold of Vegas, get a hold of someone who's going to help you with it, and then we'll be able to work with you on what you're feeling, what you're sensing. You never want to try to connect yourself. You're sensing, you're seeing is what I'm explaining here. At that point, have someone else do it, because if they're connecting and they're telling you things, you want to be able to have someone from outside help. Vice versa, once it's been invited in or it's connected, you want someone from the outside source to help you get it out. What you're going to really love, and what I'm discussing here for those of you contacting, is we're going to give you some physical proof. Those of you know the curing camera or other things that take pictures, show you the visualize of it, you want that. I've had people tell me that they've taken videos of some of the things that they sensed, and with some of the things I'm going to teach you, you'll be able to do that, heighten it up so you can take a video and see it. What better proof is for you to physically see in your eyes of what we're all describing? I think the excellent thing about those organizations I've been bringing to you, the American Federation, the Psychic institutes, and some of the groups that I'm talking about are things that are very not only physical, but are places that you can connect, you can become a part of, and you can do the work we're talking. My ability, and what I love about this, is I have those of you checking on their years of people I've helped. I've been able to sense and see, because you're feeling that, you're sensing with that person, that energy. My teachers, as we went into a little bit earlier, started at 8. That first teacher came in, she worked with me what I'm teaching you guys to do a light, basically reading with this. I'm getting you right involved right away, because I want you you to feel this and talk to me about what you've got there. When you contact me, you're seeing what kind of a psychic I am. I've had people say, I just know like I know. Well, you're going to know, but you also want to have a little bit of a key of off and on with this gift. You want to be able to, when you contact me, realize that I'm this way. I'm very hyper, very fast. I want to work with you. Like I said, I've got a large client base. That what I do is that it's half an hour to an hour, because we're going to be talking, getting in depth, and I want to make sure you need to just basically give me your name, and then I will go with the energy and tell you what the guide's got. We'll go into it out. That's what I really like. For those of you who are familiar with me, I like the fact of being able to reach in and help you with what you need to be helped with, and that's what your help or your ability or whatever you're looking at to be worked with. I have a lot of individuals who will work with me on karma about their relationships, and that's a very good one. Once again, we were just talking about the candle. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, you call me, you say, I want you to look at this. I can tell you the future. What will really be good is we want to look at both. We want to look a little bit at the past. You want the psychic to tell you, I'm feeling this, I'm getting that. Your relationship's like this, they're going like this. You want to be able to also put the other factor together for you of, I'm going to be able to sense with your future, and in free will, where are you feeling with what you've got? I've a lot of individuals that I've worked with very successful, and I pride myself now, I'm reading for their kids, telling my age and some other things, is that I'm able to read and sense a good relationship or another relationship out, and then work with those things that what they're saying here, this is going to happen. A real good psychic or an intuitive or individual gives you what they feel, the flash, the things coming. We talk about the psychic coming up. It wasn't just my drowning. After the years, as I was explaining, the teachers came in. I had a teacher for almost 20 years that she worked with me very seriously on putting my tools, my abilities. I'm able to use different things to read, but more importantly, heightening me to be able to sense around the person, so that I can not only tell you, okay, I'm sensing here, I'm sensing this with you, but to actually go a little progressive into the future to see what's there. There's the key. If you want a future reading, you need a psychic or an individual who can read more than just about you. Reading about you, as we were talking here with the aura, is good to get to know you, and I want to do that a little bit for those of you. We're talking today a little bit about houseworking, mediumship from the other side, but you want to really get into a psychic who's going to see that future. I feel from you, I get your name, the guides are telling me you've got this, you've got that. I read with you. That's why I take that little extra time, because after I've read you, then I'm going to turn around and start reading about what's going to happen to you in your progressive part of your future, because that's the part of your ability and the part of things with you in your life that become even stronger and able to go into what you need to have happen. The guides tell me, as you're beginning to work out another advantage of this, what I percept and what I see. And there's where you want to, at that point, I have a lot of individuals I've read for 10, 20 minutes. If it's a 30-minute or a little longer, then I will have them question and answer back a little bit of this here, there. The really good thing that I pride myself, it's been 1986, I've been off. I've had a person that I did not sense anything very much. From 99%, I really get. So please, I welcome you guys. I'm here to help with this. This tool is, in my belief, a gift to help. After the work I did with the teachers, I was able to find a place for it to matter. At first, I kind of hid it. It was a private thing, as I explained before, with the fact that my family and going to church, people would be a little nervous of me. Then I realized that I could not only put this out there, but make friends, be with individuals, have guides and people that actually wanted to hear and sense and be a part of this. And thus, you'll see, if you get on my site there, you'll see all the pictures. You'll see the advantage of it. I've worked in some really good areas, from LA with some very top people, some very higher things. I've worked in Washington, D.C. with that. I've got the things that are on there that I want you to look and see. But I wanted to physically take this gift to a level that's very positive and out, and still have that normal life, because it's very much a gift with it. You'll see individuals here that I talk about as you start to read the first book, Living in the Psychic Realm, of actual working in, this is how they taught me this is how they taught me that, so that you can not only pick it up, but also put that to use for those of you who not only want to get to know me, but also get to really know what a psychic is, or how it's work with it, or as I have a child, is where I've done a lot of work with the living in the realm. Then what's even excellent is I have an Uncle Jethro's Guide to the Sixth Sense. There's my second book, and that's the part of what I've learned from other teachers of it. We are the main tool, but if you want to look at this, I talk about the candle here. I also talk later about working together with the playing cards. You can use dice, I've used dominoes, and use those outside things. Are they accurate? Yes. The one thing that's really fun about it is this is turning your abilities into a way of getting that out. That Uncle Jethro's Guide to the Sixth Sense out on the book. You can look it up and get it on line right now. Start that reading for yourself. It was also part of why I wrote that book, was that my third teacher, Vic, a gentleman that I came into contact with in my 20s and I worked with for a very long time, of teaching me how to work with my abilities, how to raise the vibration. He taught me about ley lines. He taught me about not only totems, but how to be able to do the visionary, to go through and be able to sense and to work and to be very, very precise. Most psychics, one of the hardest things we have is timing. You want to work with that left side of your brain to be able to keep that. You're getting a vision. You're saying, I'm seeing you in the summer. That's wonderful. But you need to know what in the summer. There's how many months? 3 months in the summer. Some countries and some states, and we've learned that in the United States, have summer most of the time or not at all, hardly. So you want to be able to be more specific with that client. And there's where my teacher came in there. I look forward to those of you reading the Uncle Jethro's Guide to the Sixth Sense, because that's what I put together there. And I want you to be able, when we're done with the reading, not only is it a feel-good reading, which is old school, you'll hear that in Sedona, Arizona. I was one of the first Sedona crystal psychics there. They call them Sedona psychics, and worked for years there at a store right there off of the main Oak Creek, if you guys know, coming down through Sedona. But what's even beautiful and excellent of it is I met people all over the country and over the world, and have gotten known here with it. That's also why I have people do the thing of setting that time and that out, because I am busy. I want to make sure I give you the best time and you get the contact with me when it's good for you. I suggest a little bit to people who've had readings or not had readings or had problems with reading, take a little bit to get to know who you're reading. If you have a psychic, as I was saying earlier, who you want them to be able to contact with you. That's why I started out with you a little bit today, talking about how to see and sense with your own work, because you need to be in that state of mind. When do you go see a psychic? You go see a psychic when you have those questions, those pending things. I don't know what this is. There's something that is here causing something. I can't see it. I can't feel it, but I know it's on the other side. You go to that psychic when you're looking and feeling energy. You're feeling yourself. You're feeling other things happening. And you need those questions. I've got this job coming up. I feel like I should go for this job or that job. I feel like my relationship isn't what it is. I don't trust my relationship. All those questions that you can look and see and not just physically answer. You don't come to a psychic when you're looking for your grocery list or you're coming down, what am I going to eat tomorrow? You come to that psychic when you're looking at those really tangible questions about your future and have questions. And the excellent thing is, as I was saying, go to that psychic that can sense with you. We collect with each other. We all collaborate. All of us know we have different senses and auras and different vibrations and different tunes to our body. Go with the psychic that you tune to, meaning you got to take a little time and do a little research and look it up. And nowadays we have with the Google and the other things, you can go in, see it. I'm talking before this, it was like 300 psychics in Denver. They go in and you pick out who you want in the holistic. What now you can be able to do is, instead of the fair looking for a reading, you're able to look on Google, take some time, look at it out, and know, are these pictures of this person the present pictures? They're putting up pictures of them when they were 20 years ago in reading. People change, so you want to get that psychic you feel with. And take a little time on it, just like you would with any kind of shopping for a good item. You take that ability, you look at that. This person says that they're very high at mediumship. Well, I feel nervous with that. There's different beliefs. I'm Native American. In our way, we ask questions of the higher part, but we leave the dead alone. I don't walk a lot with the dead, is what they call it in our way, but I work with it, and I work with seeing things or getting messages and working with the guides for people who've had people pass or die or work with. So for an individual who really wants to do just mediumship or table tapping or looking at those things, I'm not that psychic. I'm the psychic that's going to give you the messages. We're going to work with it together. We're going to clear up your stuff and go on. If you're looking to ghost hunt and do things, I'm the one who wants to come in and stop the thing from doing that. We work on things of light, find things out, find the answers, find out what's bothering that other person over there, find out what's going on, if they keep coming back to the house or why they're doing it. I'm that one. If you're an individual who really wants to keep the table tapping or doing the things or irritating them or causing them to keep coming in and out, I'm not. Once again, what I am is the one that you want to get with when you want a progress shift reading. You want to look, I want answers to this. This is not comfortable. My children have been sick in this house. We keep having this for months. Those kind of questions. What is happening? Because someone or some force, something there is causing energy. Granted, we look at all the physical things and with the metaphysical. Sometimes a tomato's a tomato. We find out where it is. What I love, and I've prided myself with it, I get with you. My clients are my people. They become my friends and family. If you guys look on there, you'll see me on Facebook. I have a large base. I think right now I know of over like 40,000 or something like that of people that I've connected through my 30-some years. And what I love to do with those people is help them help you. One thing you can ask, you can go through, you'll see on my any of you look at my reviews, is I've done really well with people that I've connected and helped with, and I've done because what I do is I take that as a personal thing with my name on it. That's something you want to get to. I really like the idea of, here, we're getting together, you're going to work with me, I'm working with you, and let's find out where we can go with it. I applaud those of you who know the certified. I've very much been certified through the state of New York, and also I am certified through around Colorado and Canada, and worked with United Kingdom, doing some readings over in Italy, being over there and some visiting, and some friends of mine through United Kingdom I've worked with and helped with association. So that's who I am, Jethro, and I welcome all of you guys that are contacting, looking, and checking out these sites to give me a contact. Go there. I've had people tease me a little bit because the name Jethro, I was a big baby and got that name, but the funny thing is I'm not the psychic, if you want to really cash Southern person to just real slow. I'm very hyper, very quick. I've had people joke about I encourage you to tape. 2 reasons. I get very quick, very hyper. Also, I love the fact if you tape, you have something physically later back in your life to go over and say, Jethro said this is what he sent. He said in February. He said this in March. And you can go back over it in time because it's very exciting when we're going through this. And in fairness, I want people to tape because later they may call me or out of confidential, the things, I don't keep anything for it because of your respect. I also, because of my reverendship, want you to have that privacy of I don't take notes or anything down. So and in fairness, I probably will not remember a lot of what it is, or when we talk again, it is. And what's been excellent for my kudos, and the fact is I have taped for almost 20-some years from Boulder on through to Sedona to Tampa, and Washington, D.C., and now California, as those individuals have those tapes. It's really good to see. I usually go up to 3 to 5 years out, where if I'm reading and I see this happening, but if I've done an hour reading for you and I am seeing that you're going to have such and such children, or you're going to have things, I will go a little farther depending on what the guides want or what happened. You want to have those out. There's where I love it because of my accuracy, and more importantly for you too, for you to have that tape. If it isn't, you say, Jethro, you said that I was going to get married to so-and-so, and I've got this on tape, and here, I've never had it, but I would welcome that, and I've had people contact me later and tell me, you said that we would do this, we would do that. So I want you to do that. I take that pride and respect in my gift, in my area of this, that I'm very much a master of this. I am very accurate, and I very much pride the fact very fun. I like to be able to do it. So those of you tuning in, we're talking here. I'm getting it all set up for you on the fact you go to www.psychicjethro.com and do the work. I do ask those of you who are calling the phone number, you'll see it on there, to realize it's going to go to voicemail, because in fairness, I'm reading somebody. I like somebody to take and schedule a time in, because if I pick up the phone, I may be picking it up. I have some elders in my family. I have some people. So if I pick up the phone, my mind's more on my family or my grandkids. So I would be like, hello. I would be very polite, but I would not probably read for you if you just call me. You have to set up a time, because that way, in fairness to you and me, I'm in the space. I'm there. I'm just picking up the phone because I saw the phone ring, and I want to make sure that I have a life other than this too. So I welcome you guys to schedule it. Go to www.psychicjethro.com. You will find a really good thing out about it. Doing that is that you set it up at a time where you're calm, you're able to do it. I've had individuals tell me that it gets very exciting when you're filling the reading, and I want that. I want you to come in, but there's a time and a place for everything. So you go in, you've got a day off. You want to take this at a time where you're sitting down. I've had people, I can read you through the car. Your 10% of the tires is on the thing, and I can sense and I can read you. But what happens when you're driving and I'm reading you is you're not able to really pick it up. So I just ask you, in respect to me and for yourself, you want to have it somewhere else, because a good example, I read for you, and the guides are giving it to me really fast, and they're saying this is that and this is there. You take that information, you're driving, you get to where your destiny is, then you realize, did he say this? Did he get that? Yes, he said this. I'm supposed to. What day? Did he say the 4th or the 14th? I'm just giving you examples. You want to be able to sit down, have it collective, where if you're not taping it or you're not taking notes, you're also able to really kind of put this into place. Because if my schedule's busy, I may not see you for a couple more weeks, or when you can get back in, and then you realize. And I've had people like, I welcome you guys texting, writing me. I don't just write out. If you send me a text, I'm going to be polite and send you to the site. You want me to sit down and read you. So I've had so many ones go, Jethro, I've got this thing, just send it. Here's my picture. What's going to happen? I can see that, I can sense that, and I'll be polite to you. I'll do that over the radio here. You're welcome to do any of my shows or the shows here. Get a hold of Andrew Fisher. He's a phenomenal man here. Other people will be able to help you get us set up to where we can get you to one of those places, and we'll set that up with you. Those of you who've tuned in to other shows I've done Living in the Realm, I've done Psychics Gone Wild, I've done some other shows and things. You realize I love the fact of doing it this way. It's live in there, but I want you to make sure and do that, to set that time up, because what often will happen is, if you want me just to read your Facebook picture, there's a lot of energy that's there. You want me to read your most recent one and talk to you and be on the line with you, because the clairaudience, the guides are talking. A good example is the accuracy of that. I'm talking to you and you're telling me a message of you've got something. Make sure it's there and work it. There's other psychics you can call and leave a message on their phone. They'll come through. They'll help you. That's fine. That's them. Each one of us do it a little different. And those of you know from old school or from the way, which now is the new age, but it used to be called the light way, those of us that do this are really strong and have our own rules for a good reason. We are putting ourselves and our energies out there, so you want it that way. No, we don't have to be like the Princess and the Pea and put things under the pillow and all that silly, but we do need to be able to articulate with you and work with you on it's a one-on-one thing. We're sharing energy with you, so you just kind of go with it on the fact of, realize for me, I need to have you schedule a time, talk with you on the phone. It's all set up. It's good to go, because I want to be accurate. You send me a picture and I'm not, I'm going to be looking at it. I'm going to be sensing it. I'm going to feel it, but that's not going to be the full one. And so you're going to get a piece thing. And in fairness, you want to give me the respect. I give you the respect and that time and that energy together. And I had a friend tease me. They said, Jethro, you do other things. It's like, yes, I do. I used to own restaurants. I'm a very good food service person on my others, part of life before I really started doing all this. But I do this only as a living too. So what I want to do with you is to sit down with you and give the fairness. And you want the fairness. It's your future. So those of you tuning in, I'm really hoping you're listening to this. This is Psychic Jethro. Jethro Smith is my name. I was born and raised in Wyoming. I've been talking here a little bit of pieces about it. Drowned as a child at 8 and was revived, came back, and have been working with individuals quite a few years here now, over 30 some years, in professional psychic reading and intuitive reading. I first worked with a teacher she taught me how to meditate, do the work, with Meg, got me to where I could use the ability and not just have things happen without noticing the flash. She went to the other side and passed, and another teacher, Abby, came in. She worked with me. It was phenomenal. Taught me how to use those things, those cards, the tools, the palm reading, the work, how to also set it at my pace so that I was able to not only physically give energy and work with a client, but not get tapped and not to be able to help that client really articulate, so that we were interpreting together what was going on. I'm sensing the fall. I'm feeling a leaf. This means this. We were able to put this together. They're telling me on February 14th this is going to happen because this is when things are starting to change and getting ready for spring. I'm seeing the leaf because it's just starting to bud. It's coming out. It really was able to work with me in a very positive way with Abby's work to articulate those, and later with Vic, as I brought up the teacher who brought me into an even positive one. Those of you who have the ability, I very much encourage not only the book, but also to sit down and do the work. I have a lot of students, and you guys will see that on Facebook, and individuals that I have worked with. All those tools, all those 30-some years of help and them putting together and cases and things, I pass that along. I really like the fact of sixth sensing and to be able to help those abilities work together so that each and every person can put that out for what you need to have. After all the years of working with it, I went and worked in Boulder, Colorado. Those of you know Pearl Street, very much read in Longmont for almost 10 years. As a client case base out, very much pride still see have those friends and people are still my people. It's very excellent now through not only to be able to see the future, but to be part of their work. They're in Colorado Springs and Boulder, Denver. As it started building around, you see I'm starting to build bigger names now of towns because it it grew and actually became more of a thing. My business grew. There's a proper English. I grew in my English. There was a little silly. The business became very positive in work. So the work and the individuals that I have worked with for now and I'm working on is I am now living in Alameda, California. I do go to back up in the DC area. I read for there. I've been and I've worked a couple of years up in that area, orchestrated by some other things in my life, and I was able to make friends in Maryland and Alexandria, Virginia, Arlington, Virginia, Washington D.C. area, and the other place where I talked about was Tampa, Florida. And I have a large client base there because I lived there for about 6 years, helped individuals rigging, going out. What I want to do, and the reason I'm telling you these places, is for those of you, there are individuals still that really prefer to sit down and meet me in person. I'm very welcome to that. It's just setting the time to be able to be in that part of the country. I intend this year to be with my third book that's coming out of living in the discipline of the ability and being able to work with those of you to have that part. That's the second book coming out behind the Living in the Realm that talks about this, the teacher and some more stronger things that went on, some things that some people want to talk about, working with the power, how to know what a ley line is, how to work with these metaphysical energies and other developments. And what I really love with my age is that I'm able to now, I've done this, seen this, got this, now I can help others. I'm at that, I've been blessed in the fact that I'm able to go and see and work with individuals in that level. Those of you who really are interested in doing any of the tours or anything, just get a hold of me. I do still do 2 and 3 day classes. I just finished one here in the Sierras with an empowerment of individuals together, working out, sitting down, raising and doing their abilities, helping with some things that they each had. And what I love about that is I do it in small numbers. We do it with groups together. I am right now working on a place. I'm going to be doing one back in Sedona, Arizona, and like I said, Tampa, Florida, and Alexandria, Virginia, in that area, and also in Maryland. So definitely get with me at www.psychicjethro.com. I have had a lot of time with individuals with my ability of being able to work and find other people that want to be able to do a mission or something together. So what I like to do is I bring in things. We'll talk about getting some pictures, doing some film footage. I've had some friends where we've worked on some houses, some places. So, contact me on that. And this is Jethro Smith. I am a 50-year-old man who basically has done this work since I was 8 years old. I'm making sure, I hope I've gotten everything in with you guys. Anybody that's interested, please let me know. I do welcome those of you who are looking to do some cases, some work here in California. Like I said, I'm in Northern California, Alameda. I also really would like to articulate and read for those of you individuals who want to be able to orchestrate some really great ways of adding this metaphysical abilities together so that you're not just feeling one thing, but you're also getting what you need to have happen, for you. And I like the fact of I've put some things together for them. Sometimes we work on putting things out, but I get your astrology from a friend of mine over here. We work together of crystal reading, work with it. They do here. I actually do the psychic reading, the progression. This is what's going to happen. This is where you've got it. You do the work. And what's beautiful about it is to be able to put people together and make that happen. I have, as you will see on there, I've got a few organizations I'm involved in and pride myself in being able to take that course. So this is Jethro. I'm looking at a couple of things I've got here coming up the year. I would like to, to articulate with anybody that's involved in it. Like I said, I've got a couple of openings of it. And what the best part for me is to contact there. I do a lot of work on helping, like I said earlier, with psychic development, things like that. I also, with my ability, and have worked out with the 30-some years, some different clients and some people that are able to get in together and make sure that everything's working out. So this is what I've got, Andrew. I'm pretty close here on saying who I am. I apologize. That's about what I have. I don't have 2 hours worth of it.
Well, that's all right. You've pretty much given your sales pitch now in your site, so I don't think I'm going to have to ask you to to give that out again at the end. So I guess that's a blessing in and of itself. But seeing here on your site, on your specifically the personal page, there's a few things here I'd like to ask you about in the 20 minutes or so that we have left. Um, it says here under the gift of sight tab, you're able to naturally see a person's aura and chakras. Now, I swear I read something recently mentioning that the aura and chakras are connected, and why do I find that significant? Because there's this guy from Australia that I can't stop picking on for that whole thing that he believes, George Kavasilis, about how he says you really don't need chakras. I mean, chakras are real. There's a science behind them. The science is certainly maybe interesting to learn about and all that. But in the end, he asserts chakras were really created as a matrix construct in conjunction with the time period that Atlantis was falling as a civilization. And that means that in the end, it's not really in your best interest to worry about your chakras or even use them. It's best to just dissolve them into one, the one being the heart space, and act like you don't have chakras. And some people who have heard George say that say, well, I got some issues with that, among other things. If he were to actually get rid of his chakras or dissolve them, whatever it may be, as if they don't exist anymore, then he wouldn't have an aura anymore. So hypothetically, if you were to actually try to look at George Kavasilis' chakras, you would in theory not see anything because he claims he's dissolved them all into one. But from what you know about auras and chakras, can you also assert you would not be able to see an aura around him as well? Or if you can, how is the aura supposed to be visible when he's dissolved all his chakras?
I would argue with him on that. I would believe the main chakras we know does do the balance of it, but his other chakras would be function. If not, he would not be able to use his organs in his bottom chakras, and obviously he wouldn't be able to talk because if his blue chakra was closed, I feel that he really with sensing that aura and feeling those energies is all working together. We all want the main soul spiritual of that, but if he's, I would love to collaborate with him or talk with him in person or on the phone and see where he's getting this idea, because if he is completely absorbed just into that chakra, then he technically has not got any of his top chakras working neither. So how would he be able to articulate or be able to stay in that space? I feel that he's got a theory, but I don't feel that would really wash with the master teachers of Buddha or the chakras, you know.
Okay. I think you're not the only one who've said it, who's explained their side that way as to why they would disagree with him. So seems like it's always going to be an agree to disagree manner with him in that regard. But moving on, you're a certified tarot reader. Which tarot deck do you use? And before you answer that question, there was this opportunity I was given recently by one of my frequent listeners, Sean Margaret Cohen, who's also a psychic medium. She was doing a course regarding tarot cards, and I asked her, well, I don't really want to splurge on buying a new tarot deck. Can I just use the Deviant Moon tarot deck, which is the one I use, which just so happens to be the most popular tarot deck on the face of the earth, Deviant Moon tarot, for whatever the reason. It was made by this guy named Valenza. And she said, no, I'm sorry, you can't use the tarot deck. It's not, doesn't work in conjunction with the course I'm going to teach. You're going to have to get the kind that I'm using, or maybe one in the same family. So I'm not a tarot expert. I only use tarot decks on the Deviant Moon Tarot when I need to ask a question that I feel a tarot deck can answer for me. So do you understand exactly what Sean may have been referring to when she said, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to use the Deviant Moon Tarot for the course that I'm teaching? You got to use the one I'm using, or a family one like that.
I would think that probably only because the different symbolisms, and I use the tarot for the left side of it. I love the fact of the deck you're saying, and I feel that I know, like for a lot of individuals, I start with mine with the basic card reading because of the first 52, and then working into the 78 with the tarot, and I feel that's probably why. I feel the really excellent thing is the writer's deck's very popular, your deck's very popular. A lot of times there's different symbologies that are being left out depending on where the tarot deck's been made. So probably wanting to get those basic ones with you so that she can teach you and work with you. But what I love there, and there again we talk about the resigning, is you're talking about a very good deck that's very popular, it's very much around. That's where you're inspired. So your readings, and that's what I like. Every reading's going to be able to read or be a little different. You come to readers for different reasons. It's just like if you go to a restaurant, you want to get the reader that serves hot Italian. You find that person that's a little intenser and a little bit more. Where you're feeling them in the mood for Chinese food, you find that person that's in that energy. That's the same way the metaphysical works. And the tarot, the subconscious symbols are already there in our mind. Now, a lot of people are worried, and that's where the tarot got such a bad name, is there's power in those symbols and those words and those energies. So I'm going to be very blunt to those of you. It's not for the weak-minded. Andrew's a very strong person. He's using a very strong deck. I know of other people who um, the idea of the tarot make them nervous, so they use different angel cards or different things with it. I feel the really good thing, and what the person, the teacher, is doing is she wants to have a main deck to teach you. Then we amplify on that because each deck has its own, kindred and spirit. Is that helping how I feel with the tarot?
Yes, yes, it does, and thank you for trying to make sense of that. Um, I guess we'll move on now because we got to cover some subjects on the fly before the show is over. Now it says you can communicate with ancestors and loved ones on the other side and relay messages from the angelic realm. First of all, before talking about ancestors and loved ones, entities in general, entities, I shouldn't use the word aliens or extraterrestrials or even angels. I think entities of higher consciousness is the best broad term to use for this. And I recently watched a video that Brad Johnson, who channels a drone, has uploaded a little over a year ago, but I finally got around to watching it, where he talked about how there is a test of sorts that you can go through I'm not going to go over the steps here, but how to check to make sure that the entity you're communicating is authentic and is not, among other things, an artificial intelligence entity masquerading as a benevolent real entity. I say that because there's a very popular YouTube channel in the present moment, Cosmic Agency. A lady named Gosha from Europe alleges to be channeling this entity named Sfaru and some other entities who come from the Tegeta system in the Pleiades. However, Tolek, who channels the Andromeda Council, who, among other places, have extraterrestrial entities that come from Tegeta, he and also Alfred Weber of Exopolitics have asserted that Cosmic Agency's Gosha and the Sfaru entity she's channeling, it's not what it claims to be. They say it's a artificial intelligence entity masquerading as a benevolent entity. Gosha has spoken in her defense about that, asserting that they are flat out wrong. I know what I'm communicating with is not a fraud and all, and well, Tolek said, well, I'm sure it is, because my Andromeda Council doesn't know of any entities from Tegeta that your Sfaru claims that she is, or the people she works with she is. So it's caused a lot of confusion and all, but that when after seeing Brad Johnson's video, I was wondering, well, if Gosha were to maybe consider doing that test on Sfaru that Brad Johnson says, maybe she'll find out whether or not this entity is genuine. So, do you have the ability to channel and communicate as part of your psychic abilities with some higher level consciousness entity? And if so, do you have any test that you would use if it was a new entity that you've never seen before, or maybe even an entity that you've channeled with for a little bit and want to just validate that it's authentic, that you would use to find out if it's real?
Good, and a good one, and I love this, Andrew, I'm so excited. We've got to have more time for those of you that are tuning in. I love this. This is really good topics. This is a very good theory, and the thing is that if you look at this, I see a lot of people do entities. I don't personally, and in my way, and what I've seen with others, let other things come in and channeling through it all with the body because it opens your vessel to other things. I like utilizing the tool of the guides and the other work. And when we spoke of the talking and dealing with the people on the other side. I have a lot of few cases there. You can guys check it up online that have been documented. Individuals who've I've helped with their people that have passed or things. The really good thing is you want that person to be able to tell things from that. But there again, I would be a little concerned about this lady you speak of. If she's letting this come in and no one's heard of it, who says that it's of light? I would test that right away with some metaphysical things of doing some balancing of that. You want protections and light up because there's good and bad on both sides. Other energies, other things want to come in and maybe not be so positive with human beings. So you need to be able to do those balances. I would be putting some things of not only metaphysical protection, but some things there to begin the work. And I would never let something channel in me. I've seen individuals really have some very scary consequences in my 30-some years of it. Everything from their third eye coming out of their head looking very bizarre to actual having mental conditions because they, I don't want to say play, but they got into something that was very much hard. There's where we got the bad reputation with tarot cards. People say if you read them very long, you get schizophrenic, you get multiple personalities because you're talking to yourself as a hereafter person, where in reality, the person got into the cards or they got into something. They didn't use protections. They just let things go. They started channeling something. Something started coming through them. And that entity or that energy force became another part of theirs. You want to always have control over your abilities. I work with young children. I work with people that are very strong. My strongest child right now is 4 years old, and she's probably my best psychic reader. After her nap, she kicks butt. But what's adorable is she's able to sit down, meditate, and do the work. I would tell that with any adult. I think that this person, if you haven't heard of it or yours, there doesn't mean that it's not. And I welcome any new people. But my thing is I would do this with very much caution because there's a lot of people who tread the road and especially channeling or bringing in other work. You have to make sure you're putting up light with it, you know?
I am not going to deny that at all. And so when it comes to channeling ancestors and loved ones on the other side, well, when you say loved ones, I'm not going to, I assume you're not just talking about family members, but also close friends. There was a lady who I knew, had her on my show. She had me on her show. We did a secret space program special before she passed away. Elizabeth Diamond Mulligan was her name, Diamond her nickname, and had the Diamonds Forever show she did, and she mysteriously passed away in California, and nobody seems to know what exactly happened to her. But what was interesting was they tried to communicate with her on the other side, and for whatever the reason may be, she decided not to communicate on the other through the other side with whatever mediums they were using. And this kind of bases the question. Well, I mean, most psychics would assert that it's very, very rare that a loved one, if some living loved one wanted to channel a deceased loved one through a psychic medium, the deceased loved one is most definitely going to want to come into the session. But for some reason, Elizabeth Diamond Mulligan did not want to come into the sessions. Can you think of any common valid reasons that some entity on the other side would give and would have for not wanting to communicate with a psychic channel, to communicate with someone who wants to see them or speak to them or hear from them on the other side?
I do, and I'll tell you, one of the really strong things is they come back and forth, and we've proven this through recurring cameras or other work and energies of them feeling and sensing things. So there could be the time, it could be an energy, it could be the fact that they were very uncomfortable with the reader because their perception and their sending through were not picked up. I've gotten some pictures, and this is where it's exciting with the orbs and the camera and the work that, on different film footage or films of taking that, where you'll see different things and different factors. I do feel that when you're sensing that, not everyone's ability is always channeling their mediumship. I was saying earlier, walking with the dead is the one thing we talk about. I laughed at some of the friends of mine in Tampa. The Cuban individuals really like that, and the Hispanic they have the Day of the Dead, they have the working together. They were able to do it. We had a gentleman who passed there, and they always talked about him. It was a very great thing. It was very uncomfortable for the rest of us because he died under bad circumstances, and you could feel that. So there could be a combination of how they passed. It could be the right energy. We were talking earlier about chakras. I know of a person that had problems with her lungs, and so she obviously was not reading the person's uncle who had died with lung cancer. Whenever she would go to do it, things would be odd. He could not send energy because that was her weaker chakra. So there's quite a few factors, and it's really exciting. This is where and thank you, Andrew. I'm so excited to be on your show. You have been so much fun. These ideas, these topics, I love this. This is, where all of us come together, old school, new school. I do feel the really intensity about this mediumship that was also happening was there was other factors that they didn't want things shared until this person was ready. Sometimes family, there's karma, there's ties, and we've proven that. You have a person that keeps wanting to talk to their dad. Their dad doesn't want to come over yet. They want them to face the responsibility that he's not here, handle things. Oh, I've had people that, and this is what bothers me, wanting to come and pay and pay and pay. I don't want you to pay. I want you to sit down, find out what we're doing, and then let's look at this. And then we find out with you a little bit what's going on, and then we can look at those people on the other side. If they don't come away right away with me, I realize there's something more of a factor, And as like I said, especially when it comes to other people, they may be going, I don't want to come through with them and do it because if I say it isn't, or if I come through with you. And people don't like to admit it, but when people pass, they become a better, stronger person. They were always a good person. That's not saying that over there they're a bad person. It's saying they may be really, literally resting and regrouping in that energy field to come back and be at a force. That's my beliefs on why different ones do and don't. And I've seen really good success by working with a couple of people together, because sometimes it's harder for them to come back and stay over, depending on how they passed and depending on the circumstances of where their karma was with that person when they left.
Yes, indeed. All right, I guess we got. If you can only stay for an hour, we got time for maybe one more subject here. So I'm looking at the People Have Instincts 2 thing on the psychic development page. You're standing in front of what looks like a picture of a shark, and well, that's actually not a mammal, so that's kind of a bad picture to put here. But it says mammals such as dolphins and our cats and dogs can see and hear frequencies outside of our typical range. Well, shouldn't have standing in front of a picture of a shark there because a shark's not a mammal; it's a fish. um, but anyhow, dolphins and cats and dogs, they well, yeah, there is definitely something to the idea that they can see and hear on the other side. Um, just for the hell of it, strangely, I actually watched one of the episodes of the 90s cartoon The Tick, one of my favorite superheroes, and I watched the episode with a talking dolphin named Mr. Smarty Pants who wanted to take over the city of Reno. Kind of makes, so I know it's just fiction and all, a superhero cartoon and all, but with dolphins, some saying they actually are smarter than humans. If that's the case, then what's to stop a dolphin from eventually moving past using sonar and actually being able to speak like a human? If they truly are smarter than a human, then why would it not be possible? Um, can't help but ask that question. Is it to you? So is it possible? And can you say anything at all about if you were to see in dolphin, cat, or dog vision, what would you be seeing in those frequencies outside of our range? Any idea? Any theory?
Yeah, I really love that. And I do agree with you. And when I was in Maui working with some of the work over there, I know that that's amazing to me with the water. Obviously, from drowning, I'm not real happy with it. And what was really good about it was I did feel with the dolphins. I've had some real good experience in Florida and in Mexico with a little bit of the work there. The dolphins are very intuitive. You can feel, and I agree with it very much, that they're connected to mammal. Ironically, when you brought up the shark and the fish, I did feel sharks are very good at sound and other smell and sense of energy, and I was able to work a little bit with it. Obviously, I was not going to get real close to it and have a little trouble with swimming anyway. So it was really, it's a very good thing that they do. Animals do it. I have a very good ability of being able to sense and feel with them, and I can feel animals with it, where I have some of my other people hopefully will get to be on Andrew's show. They want to come on too, and they have done animal work with it. They've lived in Vegas and Sedona, and they actually are able to connect and have the animal tell them and work with them. I've had a little bit of experience where I've had different animals speak to me. I have a psychic dog. I got it from a retreat in Florida, and he mentally, psychically is a very good dog, Party Marty, and I have a friend who we've worked with on through the years that they're able to correlate. So that's what I would say, Andrew. I feel that that's a gift that I'm somewhat. It's just not my biggest forte.
Perfectly understandable. And well, I have time for, I guess, one more question because we haven't reached 7 o'clock yet. So, sound waves and light waves vibrate as a range of frequencies. That's next to that one, seeing and hearing and seeing energy. Now, when we talk about sound waves and light waves, if you were to actually have vision to actually see the waves, would it actually look like a wave? Is waves just a word that we've used because we really can't think of any other word to use to describe what sound and light travel? And they say it travels in waves, but something tells me if you would actually see it, it really wouldn't look like an actual wave. It's just a word we use because it had to be a word, and that's what we chose. So, any comments on that?
I love that, and agree with you. I think it's mostly the wording because I've seen the energy come out in vibrant energies. I've had individuals where it's come out in a burst. It depends on the person and each person's individual. What I love about the aura, and a good thing we were talking earlier about the person with the chakra. If you've got someone who's very mad, very angry, and they're red and their energy's going, it's going to be a totally different vibration of someone who's very calm, excited about something they've just spiritually got, and having light blue around them. So you're looking at those different flavors, and that's the thing I love about the color and the work of it, that a wave or a vibration can come through, and usually those are those of us who tune or we talk about elements are looking at that work. If that vibration is coming through at a different reason, there's a reason for that pulse. Just like those of you who are into stones know, if you have a seventh power of a crystal, that seventh vibration to that amethyst is not only protecting you, but the old legend was it helped you with sobriety. It helped you with things of it because it was calming and relaxing. We're proving that and showing daily that these different vibrations and these colors and these forces and energies are all life. So I would say it would do a little of all of it. And I like your expression. And maybe we've just used that word because it's handy, waves.
Yeah, I never actually thought of that until now. Is it really a wave that we? But I don't know. It's maybe a little more research needs to be there. So do you have to call it a show
I
now?
do,
We
and,
reached the
I
hour
want to
point.
see the next time you guys. I hope to get back. If I didn't bore in under zero off, I'll get to see you guys again. I love you. Thank you for letting me do this, and I better go back to work. I've got a psychic party here I have to do in San Francisco. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Take care.